My name is Kia Dolby. I've been in Atlanta for about 17 years. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. My primary business is my Kia Dolby branding business. I've been doing branding and design work for all of my adult life, and I joke sometimes because I actually started as early as middle school, and have watched it as a designer, and have watched the industry that I love, which is design, really evolve and change over the years, and my business has changed a lot over the years too. I also have a website called The Happy Solopreneur, which is a blog all about helping you create the business and life that you love. Any of you guys out there who are self-employed know a lot of the struggles that come along with owning your own business. So I created this blog as a way of really addressing the ways to make a business that you love, but not only that, a life you love, because as we all know, you can make all the money in the world, but if you don't have balance in your life and you're not really able to dedicate time to doing the things that you love, then, it's all for naught. So I started this blog earlier in the year just to talk about the trials and tribulations and also the successes of running a small business. And as you guys know, it comes with a lot of challenges. Today, what we want to focus on is really the online piece of running a small business. It's the marketing piece. So what we're going to talk today about is creating content for your online presence. So you guys ready to get started? Okay, so I like to start this out by saying the marketing struggle is real, and really the business struggle is real. If you're anything like me, you find yourself wearing a whole lot of different hats in your business. And I think that even if you're a solopreneur or a one woman or man business, you know that there are all these different things that have to get done in order for your business to be successful. And beyond that, even if you have a staff and you have other people working for you, there's still a lot of challenges in running a business. And if you have a staff, if you're fortunate enough to have a staff, you know that there's also challenges when it comes to managing other people and managing your business overall. So whether you're a team of one or you're a team of 10, the business struggle can be really real. So let's look at some of those things and putting out all of those fires that come along with running a business, whether that be people not showing up for work, someone being sick, and you being sick, all of the different challenges and unexpected things that happen in business. There's sales. You have to always get new people in the door, right? There's the customer service piece, making sure that your customers are actually happy. And then if you have time, hopefully you can spend some time marketing your business online and offline. And when I say offline, I'm really referring to things like going to trade shows, maybe setting up a booth at a community event, advertising in a paper, going out doing meet and greets, demoing your products, those type of things. Those are all the offline things that you do where you're actually meeting and interfacing with people. But as you guys also know, in this world, there's a lot of online marketing that has to happen as well. And when we're talking about online, we're talking about the connecting with your clients online. That may be email, it may be on your website, it might be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, or a number of other sites, but you want to have some type of online presence. Now, this is the thing that everybody kind of knows, but it really can be a struggle to do. So anytime you start talking about doing things in the online space, there's always these other questions that come up, like, what do I post, and why do I post it, and when do I post it, and where do I post it, and what do I do to get the most bang for my buck? And that's what we want to really focus on here today. So what we're going to talk about is, creating and making all of your online activities as easy as possible, and planning them in a way that makes sense for you and your business. So why even have an online presence? So there's a lot of different reasons, but let's just go through a list of them. It gives you a voice and lets people get to know you better. Encourages repeat visits to your website channels, thus building your website traffic and influence. Keeps you on the radar of your customers or potential customers. Helps you explain product and service better, therefore generating more interest. Aids in search engine optimization, which is the thing that helps you get placement in search engines like Google. It builds your credibility and establishes you as an expert in your area, which is really important for growing your business overall. It lets you provide valuable and relevant news and information to your customers and potential customers and clients. And then again, it helps to reinforce your brand. So these are all some really good reasons to be putting things online. But a lot of people are just not really sure where to start. So I have this slide in big bold letters as to the biggest mistake that I see people make, and it's not having goals or a plan. So let me give you an example of what I often see happening. I often have people come to me and they say, I started a blog, but it failed. Or I was sent out an email, but I haven't done another one in 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 months. And I said, well, why did you do it? And they said, well, I know that I need to do it. I know I should have a blog, or I should have a website, or I should be on Facebook, or what have you. But those are not really goals. And when you start without really clear goals, a lot of times it's easy to get lost because you're not sure what to do. You don't have a plan. And then when you don't have a plan, you kind of get lost and you look up and you look up and then you don't really have you really haven't done anything actionable because you started out without a plan. So the biggest mistake I see people make is just not having a plan. So we want to talk today about establishing a plan for your online content, whether that is email, blogs, or social media. So what is the plan? So, and we're calling this a content plan, and some people call it different things: editorial plan, editorial calendar, social media calendar, email calendar. We're going to talk about content in its totality, the whole big picture. And a content plan is a strategy and a process for helping you achieve your online goals. A content plan will help you create and deliver the most important and relevant information about your brand to a target audience. The plan ensures you have the correct kind of content for each channel that you post to, and it identifies places in which cross-platform posting, which is posting the same thing in different places, makes sense. And it also helps you establish a cadence for posting, like what is the timetable or timeline that you'll post to. So before you begin, we have to define goals up front. And the number one thing I ask people when they say they want to start a whatever blog, email, campaign, or something else is really, what do you want to achieve? And this is such an important question because I think a lot of times we know we should, but we don't know why. So step back a minute and say, well, what is it that you really want to achieve? Do you want to increase your sales? Do you want to increase your visibility so that you become an expert in you're viewed as an expert in your specific industry? Do you want to get more people in the door? Do you want to have a better relationship with your existing clients? These are all good reasons these are really all good goals to have. So once you kind of have defined your goal, you can then create an action plan. So part of defining your goal is kind of going back to the beginning. Review your business or website mission statement. What is your business or website all about, depending on the type of business you have? You kind of start at the beginning and say, why am I here? What is it I want to do? A lot of times we kind of get caught up in the day-to-day running of a business that we forget the big picture of what we're actually trying to do and what's important to us. Then you want to talk about your customers. So, and we'll go into this in the next slide a little bit. And the next bullet point is, who is your actual competition? Who do you see yourself competing directly or indirectly against? And these may not be competitions like your competitors, like you're running a race, but these just may be other people who are in your space that you want to look to just to kind of see what they're doing, what successes that they're having, what they're struggling with, so you can kind of understand what other people in your industry are doing. And finally, what is the experience you want to create for your customers or audience? If you're in any type of service field, which I think most of you are, creating an experience is really important. You know, it's the reason you have a decor that looks a certain way. You want to give people a certain feel. So anything that you're going to do online also should be looked at as part of the experience that you create for your customers. So knowing your people, the exercises I like to start out are twofold. It's number one, what is important to you? What are your goals? And number two, what is important to the people that you serve? So what we like to do is kind of build demographics of our ideal clients and customers. What are their traits? What are their key personality traits? What are their age? Are they male or female? Where do they live in relation to your business? What things do they look to as for influence? For instance, are they looking at certain types of style magazines or TV shows? What are their favorite websites? What do they do in their spare time? What's important to them? Is it having a upscale experience? Is it having something that's family friendly? Is it convenient? You want to think a lot about what the needs of your customers are before you actually build a plan, because once you kind of understand your customers, then you can really build a content plan around those customers. One thing to keep in mind is that you may be able to actually have more than one type of customer. Typically, most businesses have 2 to 3 buckets of people that most of their customers fall in. So while you're not going to be able to address everybody individually, you should typically be able to look at your customers and create some comparisons between them in terms of, age, demographics, and things that are important to them. And you may be able to lump them in kind of some big categories. And then you'll be able to build your customer profiles a little bit better from there. So the other piece that I think is really important also has 2 parts, and I see a lot of people missing the boat on this, honestly. And quite honestly, these are also 2 of the most simple things that you can do. The first one is having an effective website. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be flashy, but it does have to have a couple of things going for it. It needs to be pretty easy to update, meaning you can make changes when you need to. It needs to have your key contact information. Can people find you? Is there a phone number that's active? Do you have your address if you have a physical location? Is your email address there? It needs to speak to your audience, which means that you need to write it and create all of the graphics and content on the site from the standpoint of what your customers are looking for. And it has to be appealing, visually appealing to those customers. Let me tell you a little story, and this happens to me like every few weeks, and I'm still just really amazed. I was out, so the last time this happened was last week. I was at swim class with my sons, and I wanted to order some food from a restaurant in my neighborhood. I didn't have their menu because I was on the go, so I said, well, let me just Google it and see if I can find their menu so I can call in an order. First, the restaurant didn't have a website, so I looked at Yelp. I found a couple of pictures that others had posted of their menu, but I really couldn't find a menu. So I ended up actually going to another place down the street that I could pull up their menu because I just really needed to see a menu I could place an order. And it really just amazes me in 2016 that there are people who there are restaurants specifically that don't have websites with menus on them. That's just, to me, is letting money walk out the door. Every industry is a little bit different, but having a website or some central hub is really important to your business. The other part is the gold mine that I see a lot of people overlooking, which is a working contact list. Now, most of us at some point or another collect names, whether they're existing customers, they're names that we get from a trade show or a table that we set up at events, a mailing list on the counter. But there's so many people who have this gold mine of information and don't use it. If a customer gives you their email address and their name, that means they're already warm. You already have something in common. So use that list to market to your new potential customers, and also as a way of staying in contact with you want to market to your existing, you want to market to potential customers, and you also want to stay in touch with your current clients. You know, the people who are top of mind a lot of times get your business. For instance, with my key Dolby branding business, I send out 2 emails per month. They're not elaborate. They're pretty short. They tend to have a kind of education, inspiration message to my customers. Every time I send out an email, I get a phone call or a follow-up email about a potential business. So for me, keeping my mailing list up to date and active is really important. Another thing that I see happen often is that, you know, a customer who is maybe not ready for a service in May might be ready for a service in October. So if you don't market to those customers on a regular basis, when the 6 months rolls around and they're ready, they're looking for the first person that they can trust, that they know and trust. And if you're actively marketing to those customers or clients, those will be the people that there's a good chance that those will be the people who book or need your services. So really easy. If you have a mailing list, get it organized. Put all the names in an Excel document. Import them into your email program if you have one. Use that list. Keep it up to date and keep it active. It doesn't take a lot of work, but it really it's like I say, it's a gold mine of clients in the long run. And you also want to reach out to. I'm seeing some messages pop up, and we can talk specifics later. But thank you for your messages. You can also market to those people in different ways depending on the size and the number of people on your list. Okay, so let's keep going. So this is kind of just the foundation and of creating an online plan. So what we want to do now is talk a little bit more specifically about what your plan should include. You want to have a purpose. What is the purpose of everything that you're doing? What are your goals? And we talked about that a little bit. What is the tone of the information that you're sending out? If you have a business that caters to kids, obviously you want it to be really fun and friendly and upbeat. If you were trying to create an upscale experience for your clients, then you might use certain language that talks about luxury and high-end services and things that differentiate you from others. So just take a moment now, if you haven't already, and put your phone on mute, and we'll keep going. You want to identify the channels that you're going to use. Are you using Facebook, email, Instagram, Pinterest, or what have you? And here's just we'll talk about this a little bit later, but as a quick hint, you want to keep it limited to just a couple. A lot of people spread themselves real thin trying to do everything and be in every place at the same time, and most people just do not have the bandwidth to handle it. So pick a couple. Frequency. How frequently do you want to send out updates? Is it daily, monthly, weekly, yearly? Obviously you want it to be more than yearly, but what is the frequency that you want to set? And then you want to have a schedule and a format. And we'll talk a little bit about format on the next slide. So there's so many different types of things that you can create for online. And a lot of times people kind of forget that everything doesn't have to be like a blog post. So quickly, some of the things that people look at that really can make a really lasting impression online are quotes. Everybody loves quotes. Inspirational quotes is something that almost all of us like and share. Photos of your clients, or photos that you've taken of your services, or photos of your salon. Blog posts. These take a little bit more time to create, but you can add value to your clients by, sometimes posting a blog. Top 10 lists, your favorite things, your favorite products, those types of things. illustrations, cute, fun illustrations, videos, slideshows, white papers. White papers are typically like educational papers on a topic. Curated content. This is one that takes little time to pull together, but gets a lot of you could get a lot of bang for your buck. And curated content is when you pull together things other people have already posted in a thematic way. So, for instance, if you were to post the top 10 favorite braid styles for summer and you post other folks' pictures, you just want to give them credit. But you may have something new and a new added voice or perspective to add to it, and then you're going to just do kind of a roundup of the best. Repost from other sites. This is, similar to the curated content where you post something that someone else has already posted, but you want to also give them credit and links back. Any kind of inspirational content, how-to, infographics, ebooks. You may have produced an ebook on a certain subject, audio podcasts, webinars like this one, e-planners or tools, testimonials and real-life examples. Client testimonials really give your business credibility. So there's something you may want to consider is having, maybe your client pictures and testimonials about their experience that you post online. So let's dig into creating a content calendar. I want to cover this in about 6 different points. Remembering your big picture goals, brainstorming ideas, planning your calendar, scheduling your content, measuring your content, and then repeating. So we talked earlier about goals, and usually in the new year, it doesn't have to be January 1, but usually towards the end of the year, the new year, we all kind of have business goals for ourselves or our business. What are the top 2 or 3 things that you want to achieve this year? Maybe you want to do more speaking engagements. Maybe you want to grow your business or have a staff. Maybe you want to travel more. All of these things really kind of tie into the direction of the content that you're going to create for your online experience. So you're going to start with your big yearly goals, and then you may be able to break those out into quarterly and monthly goals. So maybe you really want to grow your Facebook presence, or maybe you want to send out more emails. And these are the things that are going to kind of corroborate your yearly goals. And then you'll have a week-to-week plan. I really like to work out quarterly or monthly because those big picture things are really the things that determine kind of the cadence and success of your plan. You don't want to get down into the minutia detail weekly too soon until you kind of flushed out the where am I and where am I going types of directional things first. And then you want to decide what channels to focus on. Again, I think most people have success when they really just kind of streamline and pick 1 or 2. Something isn't working, you can always change it up in the future, but you want to kind of keep it streamlined so that you're not spreading your resources too thin. So before you post anything online, I like to really start with a brainstorming piece. I actually do this in 2 different ways and encourage other people to do things this way too, but you may find something that's different that works for you. I keep a notepad in my purse and that I take out my purse every night and keep in my bedroom that I just always have available to jot down any kind of random ideas I have. That's traveling with me. I do most things digitally, but for some reason pen and paper and actually writing things down is a great way for brainstorming for me. Second, I like to take some time, whether it's quarterly or monthly, to really just kind of take 30 minutes or an hour and just write down every idea I have of something that I could do, whether it's stupid, makes sense, easy, hard, whatever, just things that I think might be interesting. And I ask myself a couple of questions when I'm doing this. What do my customers really want to hear from me? This goes back from knowing who my customers are. What types of information do they want from me? What do I already have that's existing? And we'll talk a little bit about reusing in the next couple of slides. But A lot of times if you do a presentation for a group or civic group or church group, you can break that back up and put it online. If you do something that's a blog post, you can break that out into maybe 2 or 3 different things in a series. So just something to think about. Oops, I have a duplicate. What content would be easy for me to create, and then what topics actually excite me? Like, what are the things that I'm really passionate about and really want to share? Once I've come up with this list of all the ideas, I start to put it into a calendar-type format. I don't attach dates to it yet. I just put the idea and think about the format that might make sense and where I might want to post it. This is kind of my high-level content plan. So when people say, I don't know what to write about, I say go back to your content planning list. You should have 20 or 30 different ideas there. Whether they're things you do in the next 2 weeks or towards the end of the year, you've always got a list of ideas. So when you kind of run out of things to talk about, you can go back to that brainstorm list that you created. So one of the things that I've learned that helps me save time is this whole idea of reusing things in different ways. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And so if you have one great idea, you may be able to use it and turn it into 4 or 5 different formats. You could take it and make it a blog post. You could turn it into an email. You could shoot a short video or audio recording about it. You could find some graphics or infographic or photo that kind of summarizes the idea, put a quote on it, and post it back to your blog. Or you can make a presentation, take your top talking points and then put it into a presentation and post it on your website. It really just depends on what you have at hand, what's easy for you to create, and what you think your customers might want to see or hear from you. Then I'll do kind of a detailed calendar, which includes the channel that I want to post to, the date, topic, key point, and then I also start to assign deadlines and status. So if you're working with somebody, if you're hiring somebody to help you create content, you might want to put some status type information here or when it's due. If you're creating yourself, the content yourself, you can kind of give yourself a timeline for getting things done. So I like just to keep a column of around deadline and status. And again, if it makes sense to post things in multiple places or the same thing in different formats, I do it then. The other thing that I want to mention that I found is a lot of times content is timely. And once you've done it the first time, you can kind of dust it off and do it again. So, for instance, with the holidays coming up, if you're doing anything this holiday inspired, like say maybe you're doing something on parties, how to dress up for your after work event. Once you've kind of written that one time, you can take that same idea and use it again next year, or you kind of dust it out for Valentine's Day or for graduation and kind of put a new spin on it. But essentially, you're using the same idea. You're just kind of giving it a new spin to make it timely. For my calendar, this can be as simple as creating an Excel document and just tracking what you want to post in there. And you can use this very same format with channel, schedule, topic, key points, deadline, and status. Scheduling and measuring. We won't go into too much detail here because there are a lot of different tools that you can use. I like Hootsuite for social media because it allows you to post to multiple channels at one time. You just open up a dashboard and you can schedule things at the time that you want them to go out. But for every Hootsuite, there's 10 other competitive products to it. So I'm not endorsing any products, but you do want like a social media management dashboard. Nobody has time to always go in every day and make new posts. So if you can find a tool that helps you schedule, that will take some of the workload off of you. For Instagram, I'm using a tool called Planoly, which allows you to schedule Instagram posts in advance. For email, you have to use some type of email client, like Constant Contact, Vertical Response, MailChimp, ConvertKit, I like MailChimp because it's free and it's really flexible and easy to use. So basically when I write my emails and they start in a Word document, I then just copy and paste them over into MailChimp and schedule them. And the thing that I like most about this is that you can do these multiple ones at a time. So if you ever have a half a day to kind of devote to your online marketing, I say don't just try to write one blog post. Try to write a couple or try to do a couple of emails because you will have already identified the topics from your calendar, and you can sit down and just kind of write them all out and schedule them. And if you're doing one a week or, one a month, you have them already scheduled, so you don't have to revisit it. All you have to do is schedule it to go out on the date that you want it to. So it's kind of one of those things that once you sit down and do it, you can check off as done. And finally, you want to decide your metrics that you should track and go back to your goals. So you want to create some type of baseline for actually measuring whether what you're doing is successful or not. There's a lot of detail level things that you can do, like looking at your traffic for your website or how many people open your email. But you want to kind of correlate this to a real-world goal of yours, whether it's getting more clients in the door, having more phone calls, getting people to buy your products off of your website, kind of coming up with what that benchmark for measurement is as part of your goals. And then you want to go in, on a monthly basis or quarterly basis and kind of evaluate if what you're doing is working. It's okay to try something and it not work. If it doesn't work, you just try the next thing. Sometimes it's trial and error just to kind of figure out what people are really looking for. But if you kind of have a way of going back and measuring it, then you that will give you kind of the end results. And if you're not getting the results you want, you try something else. And if you are, so maybe you're sending out 2 emails a month and you're getting good results from that, and then you say, well, what happens if I send out 3? Will I get more results? Maybe or maybe not. So I'm posting things, weekly, and then I come back and say, hey, I want to try this out and see what happens if I increase that and see if I get a bigger return on my investment. Then, you can go for that as well. So here are my tips for success. Ambition kills. Keep it simple. I think it's really easy to get really excited about something and want to do everything, but it's really not sustainable. So back off and keep it really simple. You don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. You just have to do 1 or 2 things very well. Get help. Your help can be paid help, or it could just be a peer or somebody who already works with you to kind of spread out the workload. It's much easier when you have a team than when it's just you doing everything. And if this isn't your stuff, if this isn't your area of expertise, then you may want to find someone you can partner with to help. And then be strategic. Nobody really has time to do a whole bunch of stuff. So everything you do should have a strategic outcome in mind. If you're posting stuff on Facebook, you want an action to happen out of that, whether it be brand awareness or whether it be people actually buying things from you or booking appointments with you. You want there to be an outcome. Okay, so I'd like to open the floor up for questions at this point. I saw a couple of things flash up, but I wasn't able to see everything. So if you have any questions at this point, let's jump in and open up the floor. If you need to go off of mute, or you can send a message via Join Me. 3 free planners for small business owners that I've put together. There's a Grow Your Business Planner. These are this is a really short one, but it's fun. It's 5 things that you can do this week to grow your business. These are things, I'm all about things like quick hit. So these are all things that you can just try out and see if they work for you. Thank you. Refresh your brand. This is for people who are new to business or new to branding or want to rebrand their business. And when we talk about branding, we're really talking about how things look and feel and overall experience. It's everything from graphics to tone. It ties right into the producing content, but it's really, how you're positioning your business. And this branding workbook, which is also free, is available on my website. And then I have a Plan Your Website tool, which is for people who are starting a new website or who have an existing website that they want to update, because a lot of times you're not sure where to start. You have technology, you have design things, you have timeline, you have budget, you have end goals, maybe you want to sell products. And this is just a tool to kind of help you capture all the things that you need your website to do when you're getting ready to design or redesign it. Finally, I have a book on that is actually on creating a content plan to build your brand. It's called Remix. It's available for sale on my website. It's about 60 pages long, and it covers a lot of the things that we talked about today, but in more detail for each section, so that we talk more about how to post things, when to post things, tools that are out there, and it has a really big resource guide in the index. Email and website.
And you can say your phone number, because we have a couple of people who called in who aren't on the computer.
Oh, sure. My phone number is 678-428-4290. My website is kiadolby.com. That's KIADOLBY. And my email address is, yes, my email address is my name at my email address, Kia@KiaDolby. Go ahead. You had a question?
Yes. Let's say if I want to increase my clientele to 100 clientele, how many posts should I do a day and all that?
I think it really depends on your business. No two businesses are the same. It depends on kind of what your following is already, and where you're thinking about posting. But what you want to do, the number one thing is be consistent, and with any kind of social media that you're doing. And number two, I would say if you're trying to increase the best place to get new clients from are your existing clients. So you want to reach out, however, online, social, or email, to your existing customers and do two things. You want to get testimonials from them, and you want to ask for their referrals. You want to ask them to actually, if you're happy with my services, refer me to a friend. So many people forget to do that, and your customers or clients might love you, but if you don't ask them for those referrals, they're not going to remember to do it. So that's one way that you can do it, and just say, if this, send my information to somebody else. Invite your friends to my Facebook page.
That's a good. And I just learned something about Twitter. I didn't really just learn it, but I just kind of put two and two together. With Twitter being a place for conversation, that's a really good place to post testimonials from your customers in a short form.
Exactly. They actually even have, I think, a testimonial tab that you can add to your Facebook page. And I suggest for any type of small business to get, I know there are a lot of specific, industry-specific booking tools, but I think Yelp, if you have a salon, is a great place to start. Ask people for good testimonials on Yelp and make sure your Yelp page is up to date. There was another question that came in about, and it kind of flashed and I missed it, about posting. I think it was Carice.
Let's see, any advice on getting content published was one of Karis's questions, and look, I don't see any others that might have come specifically to you, but that's the one in the public chat.
If you're, you can, to get it posted on your own website is pretty easy if you have a blog, or you just, add it as a blog. If you're talking about getting other people to repost your information, or say writing for a specialty magazine or a specialty blog, the number two things for that is just ask. A lot of times people are dying for content and dying for people to partner with them. So you just want to ask for permission. The other thing I suggest is creating kind of a one-pager. And a one-pager is just kind of the about me, high level, what you do, how you do it, what makes you different. put it in a really nice PDF, and then start sending that out to people. And you tailor that specifically to who you're sending it out to. So, for instance, if you're interested in maybe doing a speaking event at a conference, or you're interested in a magazine publishing some of your styles, send them the one pager, and then send them an email that's specific to what your request. It makes you look really professional and like you have everything together. And you may not get a hit with everything you send out, but if you do it consistently, you will see some results from that.
Also, for AMAC Pro members, if you update your profile on AMAC Pro, when people call us looking for stylists to speak at their events or teach something, then we refer them through those profiles on AMAC Pro. So if your specialties and your image is updated, it makes it easy for us to refer you out.
Great. Thank you guys for your questions and your feedback, and thank you, Elaine, for inviting me to speak. Again, if you guys need anything, thank you. Feel free to reach out to me or Elaine, and she can give you my contact information. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, thanks so much, and look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks. All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
You too.